Hi folks, welcome to this week's Inside Track with Scottish Sun. As always, I've got Jim here with me. Jim, have you recovered from last week's exertions at Ayr? You were the racecourse announcer for 3 days. It was great drama, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic 3 days, and obviously managed to get myself in the heart and guts of it as the presenter for the 3 days, and chatting to loads of trainers and jockeys after races, and keeping the public informed. And hopefully, we did a pretty good job. It was just I mean, Thursday and Friday were tremendous. We'll talk about one of your selections in just a second, but if I can just start with the Gold Cup, it was just an amazing feat for Richard Spencer and owner Phil Cunningham, and of course jockey George Wood to win the Silver Cup and the Gold Cup on the same afternoon. They actually all appeared. I was looking after the draw on Thursday morning at 10:30, and they actually all appeared for that, suited and booted. So the whole entourage were there from 10:30 Thursday morning. I don't think they left till well after 8 o'clock on Saturday night. They had a fantastic time. They had a couple of thirds and fourths as well as the two winners on Saturday. And I want to put in a word for Richard Spencer because I sort of try and pride myself in interviewing these people after races and sometimes before races. And Richard Spencer came out after the Silver Cup win, and I put him on the spot in front of a huge crowd at Ayr on Saturday. And I said, "Now you've got three in the Gold Cup. Which one is it?" And he actually put the crowd on to Run Boy Run. So there was nothing hidden. He was right up front about it, and Run Boy Run just won like a really good horse. And after that, I have to say, despite all my own interest in the race, I managed to get a couple of quid on Bet365 on the phone. So all was not lost. It was not a bad day at all. So great day at Ayr, great 3 days at Ayr, and onwards and upwards. But what about that winner you come up with, Just Dotty?
Yes, well, she certainly handicap debut. Certainly went in with a bit of style. I mean, about a furlong out, you're thinking she's going to get there, but she just put her head down and ground it out. But I was actually speaking to Mike Smith at Perth on Wednesday, and I kind of got the impression he thinks she'll go in again the next time. She's been raised
Yeah,
£6 up to 58, but plenty of possibilities there for her. But just speaking to Mike, I just got the impression that he thinks this horse might run up a wee sequence of two or three wins on the flat before maybe going back hurdling again. So it'd be interesting just to keep watching her and see how she gets on. But she was definitely well backed. I mean, she was 40 to 1 when we did the programme. You could have
yeah,
got 25s easy enough on Saturday morning and then went off at 10. So as you said, everybody in Ayr seemed to know about this as well. I mean, plenty of people cottoned on to it. I think Mike was telling people as well by the
he
sound
was.
of it. So a great gamble landed. So hopefully everybody made a few quid. But Isla Fernandez, Jim, was one that just a crossbar job, wasn't it?
Yeah, I that was another 25 to 1 shot we put up last week, Robert, and I ran an absolute cracker. Coming into the last two furlongs, I thought won this, absolutely going to win this, but just getting nabbed, but still got the place money at 25, so we've got to be happy about that on such a competitive card at the weekend.
Yeah, well, like I said to you the other week there, Perth's the real start of the jump season for me. So I enjoyed the 2 days there. Just wanted to flag up a couple of horses from it. Thought
Yeah,
the Hatchet and the novice hurdle, we thought that one really, really well under Jack Power, claiming, I think he's still claiming 7, but I thought
right,
that horse for a novice jumped really, really well. Up against a quite fancied Gordon Elliott one, Eternal Echo, which had won an Irish bumper and won at Cork. So that had a good bit of form in the book, but the Hatchet took care of them for the front. I think that might be a horse to follow. The other thing that maybe come out of Perth as well is the Gordon Elliott form. He's now one winner for 47 runners. He had
yeah,
5 or 6 runners at Perth that were quite well fancied. Every one of them kind of came to win the race and never found any, or the ones that did come to win the race never found anything. So that would just be a thing as the season's just about to get kicking off. I would just be keep an eye on the Gordon Elliott form because certainly the last 14 days there's not been much to shout about other than three card brag second and
yeah.
the Kerry National that ran well, but certainly the lower grade ones bit of a health warning there. And there's also another one I thought at Perth that I've noted down to follow next time was Inniston for Sophie Leach, which came up a fair way bit up to Scotland after 900 days off. Ran into third. Didn't look like it had been properly tuned up for the
Mhm.
for the race. He was a wee bit tubby, but I think with a run under his belt, I think this Inniston next time might go in. Had a great bit of back form. Finished second to Crambo,
Yeah,
who went on to
terrific
win
form.
win Grade Ones at won at Sandown. So finished second to that one in a good race over 2.5 miles. So Inniston, we want to put in your notebook, Jim.
Yeah, very much so. And we're going to talk about a jump race before we finish. That's at Market Rasen, but I think we're going to start at Newmarket, Robert. And obviously, it's Cambridgeshire Day on Saturday. And what's the big surprise for me is that this is a 35 runner maximum field, and we've only got 24 runners, so it hasn't filled. Very disappointing.
Oh, hugely disappointing. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw that the other day. I mean, we've got used to small fields, and this is by no means a small field, but it's got to be a worry when races like this are not filling up, isn't it?
Well, it really is. And I don't want to blow Ayers trumpet too much, but I'll just say this. I mean, last week, Gold Cup, Silver Cup, Bronze Cup, 25 runners in each. And on Thursday morning, there were still 203 horses wanted to run. So we managed to get 75 a run, and there was probably another 75 desperate to come up as well. So I don't know what it is about the Cambridgeshire, but a mile and one, you would have thought at this time of year, the ground going a little bit soft, there'll be a lot of horses wanting to run, but to be 11 short of maximum field is disappointing. Does that make it any easier, Robert? That's the big question. And in my column on the Inside Track in the Sun on Thursday, I've gone pretty big on a horse called Great Chieftain, which is trained by, he's not so young anymore, Oliver Cole, but I was going to say young Oliver Cole. Obviously, Paul Cole's son, Benoit de la Sayette, rides this one. Runs in the of owner Mrs. Frittery Hay, because she also runs Fort George, which is trained by Ed Walker, whose horse is in great form. And Oisin Murphy's on that one. But Great Chieftain is the one that I've been just looking at on the build up to this race. And I really like the horse's profile. He's won 5 handicaps, won 5 out of 12 overall on turf. And the 5 handicaps 69, 76, 82, 83, and 89. Now on 93. Had a summer break, came back at Goodwood, ran a perfectly fine race off his new mark. I think this horse has been laid out for this. I wouldn't read too much into the fact that he's going to be wearing the white cap and not the pink and the green cap for Frittery Hay. So Great Chieftain, it was available this week at 40 to 1 when we flagged it up in the paper on Thursday. I still managed to get another wee each way bet on last night at 25s. I suspect he'll be sort of 18-20 on Saturday morning. But I still think that's tremendous each way value. And as usual with the Cambridgeshire, there's going to be plenty of firms going 5, 6, maybe even 7 places. What about yourself?
Well, it's another chief that I quite fancy, and this one's Tribal Chief for David Manuzio, who you never really know what you're going to get with this horse coming at the stalls. We talked about him earlier in the season. He's got a tendency to get left
Yep.
behind coming at the stalls and really finish like a train. But he was a lot better behaved at Goodwood the last time where he won. He beat Treble T, who came out and beat Cash next time. I've heard a few people mentioning Cash for this race, so
Yep.
he's got a bit of form there. I mean, he's been second to Bullet Point twice this year. Gave Bullet Point £1 at Newmarket earlier in the year, so we know he likes the track. You just don't know what you're getting from him coming at the stalls, but he's got a mile and one to catch up if he does get left behind. And I just think he's got the look of a horse that this kind of test is right up his street.
And the other one I think we both maybe fancy to run a big race is John and Thady Gosden's horse, Fifth Column. And he's got a tremendous
Aye.
record in this race, hasn't he, John?
Aye, I mean he's won 2 of the last 10, I think. I mean William Buick Cup. I mean, he just looks a horse that's got all the boxes ticked, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Step up and tip is probably what he's bred for as well. So I think he's definitely one you're going to have to keep on side. I think he's about 7 to 1.
Well, let's see if we can get one in the frame and maybe even win the Cambridgeshire. So we've put up a couple there, Robert. But the main action from the purest point of view at Newmarket on Saturday will be the 3 big 2-year-old races. One over a mile, the Royal Lodge, the Group 2, and then 2 Group 1s over 6 furlongs for the fillies and the colts. We'll start with the Royal Lodge, I think. And the one I'm putting up here is a horse trained by Charlie Johnson. It's owned by Amo Racing, so it'll be ridden by David Egan, who he was up at Ayr last weekend, had a winner on the Saturday, I think. And Ancient Egypt is, I could be wrong here, Robert, because I didn't double check, but I suspect he's probably the most expensive yearling that Charlie Johnson or his dad Mark have ever had at 1.1 million guineas. And obviously that was Amo Racing money. He's won his 2 races. He's by Franco, you won't be surprised to hear. He's won his 2 races at, his first one was at Beverley, I thought was quite impressive, and then he won again next time under a penalty. I think Charlie said this race in mind for the horse for about the last 2 months. I suspect that the Royal Lodge, out of all these end of season mile, 7 furlong mile races, possibly takes the least winning. That could be a controversial assertion, but we'll see if anybody goes and looks that up and maybe comes back at me there. It was won by Wimbledon Hawkeye last year. I think that probably tells its own story. Ancient Egypt, I don't think is a Group 1 horse at this stage of the season. Group 2 is the way to go. A mile back in Newmarket, I think they might find that this is the ideal race to get this horse a big race in the bag. So I'm going to put up Ancient Egypt, but you're against me here.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, we heard so much about Publish a while back, and the way Bo Echo took care of him at Haydock, I
Yeah.
thought was pretty impressive. I mean, I'll need another step forward to win this, I think, but did look one that's very progressive. Short price, probably too short for me. It's 74. Every horse I put up in this program at the kind of prices gets beat, so I personally probably won't be getting involved. But looking at the race, Jim, I thought Bo Echo's going to be pretty hard to beat in this.
Okay, we're going to both put up a short price in the next race, though, Robert, and we just can't get away from Royal Fixation. The horse that won the Lowther at York, trained by Ed Walker. William Buick is in the saddle. The way I see this race at 15-8, I think it's a great bet. It might go down to 6-4, 6-5, even, I'm afraid, because I just cannot see in to beat it. Can you?
Well, I mean, if the True Love that won at Ascot turns up, she wins, does she not? But she's
Yeah,
got a
maybe,
huge,
maybe.
you know, after getting turned over in the Phoenix at 1-4 by Power Blue, a horse that she'd already beaten,
Yeah,
reportedly returned lame. There's just too many red flags there, is there not? Now, as we've said before all summer in several races, if anybody can bring a horse back for a bad performance, it's Aidan
of
O'Brien.
course.
I mean, Puerto Rico, who was third that day, has went and won the Champagne Stakes at Doncaster. So the form of the Phoenix Stakes doesn't actually look that bad. But
Yeah.
just given what was expected by her, she looked a superstar when she won the Queen Mary. Just maybe not lived up to that so far. But I think she's the one that Royal Fixation has to beat. I mean, Fitzella would have a chance as well, would you think?
Yeah, if it's Ella, I'll probably go from the front. You would have thought so. And Richard Hughes, very enthusiastic about American Queen in the press this
Mm.
week. And he introduced a very nice newcomer at Ayr last weekend. Did quite a touch on that. America Queen reversing the form of Royal Fixation. I've looked at the race 3 or 4 times this week. Just can't see it. So, again, I don't like going overboard about short prices, but I just cannot see Royal Fixation not winning, if you know what I mean.
Definitely the most solid one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely one,
yeah.
the most reliable one in the race, you would say.
Yeah. Bit more difficult the Middle Park, I thought. As the week was progressing, I thought Gestad might run, but Aidan O'Brien's decided to run a different pair, Brussels and First Approach. Don't like either of those. The one that I was thinking putting up each way at a big price, but it's not a big price anymore, is the one I think might just win it now. I know Wise Approach is going to be very difficult to beat for Charlie Appleby and William Buick, but the one I'm going to put up here is the Publican's Son, trained by Joseph O'Brien, who's been busy at Listowel this week, flat and jumps. His horses are running tremendously well. He was second in the big hurdle yesterday. And I think the significant thing here is that the Publican's Son goes here with one run behind him. Now, he debuted in a Group 3, not a maiden. He debuted in a Group 3 and was finished second. That was a very good Group 3, I thought. And the significant thing here, Robert, is that earlier this week, Joseph O'Brien ran a debutant in a listed race at Fairyhouse and absolutely hosed up a 20-1 chance. Absolutely hosed up. He's not afraid of throwing these horses in when he thinks they've got ability. He's already put this horse in a Group 3 and it's finished second. He throws it straight into a Group 1. Earlier in the week, you were looking at 16-1 about this horse. It's now 5-1.
Mm.
It's either second or third favourite. And I think the Publican's Son with O'Sheen Murphy booked, I think that could be very significant, is the one to be on here. So I'm taking a little bit of a chance, a little bit left field, but not too much when you look at the price.
No, I can see where you're coming from, Jim. I mean, it was such an eye catcher because it was last out the boxes, sitting at the back of the
Yeah,
field, and then just cut through them to come and finish second in that round table stakes at the Curragh. So if it gets out the boxes a bit quicker and is maybe up with the
yeah,
pace, then the raw talent it showed just to cut through them the way it did was hugely impressive. So I wish it was on at 16. I mean, it's only 92 now, so
I know.
but that's the nature of the game, I'm afraid. But I wish I'd noticed it earlier in the week. But there we are. You're going to do one at Market Rasen, but I'll stick to the flat first.
Yeah,
Haydock 240, a 6 furlong handicap. I thought Van the Man starting to look well handicapped now. £4 below his last winning mark, dropping in grade here. He's placed 4 out of 4 in Class 3 company, albeit that was over 5 furlongs, but he did run well as a 2-year-old over course and distance behind Lake Forest, who's now rated 115.
yeah.
So that was 2 years ago. So worth taking the chance that the 6 furlongs will be right up his street again. Drawing 5 should be fine. 8-1, nice each way bet. So I thought Van the Man in the 240 was looking pretty well handicapped and pretty primed for this race.
Nice one. And the one I'm going to mention at Market Raspberry is in the 5:45. It's the Lincoln handicap hurdle over 2 miles, a 40 grand race. And the one I really fancy here is Goblet of Fire, which is trained by Nicky Henderson, going to be ridden by James Bowen, who's been at Perth this week. He's been riding winners. He was at Listowel as well. So he's been all over the place. Nicky trains this one now. The reason I've really come round to the idea of backing this horse, Robert, is that I actually backed it last time on the flat. That was at Goodwood in a handicap, and it absolutely cruised round. Danny Muscat was on it that day. Came there to win its race, and then this thing came out and absolutely scooted clear. Now, the name of that horse that won was Miss Alali's, and that came out at Newmarket on Thursday and won a listed race. So, Goblet of Fire, as they say in the business, bumped into one that day at Goodwood. He's back over hurdles. I think he's quite well handicapped over hurdles. I think he'll be fine on the ground. He's already run a good race here at Market Rasen in the summer. That was his penultimate start. I think he'll be fine on the track. Henderson's horses that he's running are running well. He'd actually run well on the flat at Pontefract yesterday. And I think that Goblet of Fire could be the one to be on with James Bowen, who's overshadowed, of course, by his brother Sean, but he's a pretty good rider in his own right. So Goblet of Fire in the 5:45 at Market Rasen.
That's brilliant, Jim. Thanks very much. Good luck this weekend. Good luck, folks.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy.